What's up, everyone? Welcome back to Three Swords Productions.
Whoa.
You got me, Nathan, here with Steven today. We're going to do some commentating on a video of Whitebeard versus Sanji. If you're new here, remember to like and subscribe. And if you're not new here, remember to like and subscribe. Steven,
Sure.
you like playing a lot of Sanji, don't you?
I'm the Sanji guy, so yes.
So yeah, we got some Sanji action going on today. Get a nice, good representation against one of the more meta decks in the Whitebeard deck.
Yeah, so whenever you post Sanji content on the internet, people inevitably want to know, how does Sanji perform against the meta decks? And specifically, how does Sanji perform against Whitebeard? It does look like a really intimidating matchup. One of the things I'm telling people that's really good about Sanji is that you can play two 4Ks on the first turn of the game if you go second. And when you're able to do that on your second turn, you can play a 4-drop, untap 2 Dawn, and then equip, attack for 5, attack for 5, attack for 5, and you have a very aggressive start. But against Whitebeard, you can't do that. Things change. And it does look like the deck loses a lot of its power when that's the case. So, how do you actually take down Whitebeard? Well, join us in this commentary. We are going to show you how Sanji can take down Whitebeard. You ready?
Embarrassingly enough, yes, of course I'm ready.
All right.
All right. Yes, this is a game that we actually played the other night, where I was on Whitebeard and Steven was playing Sanji. We recorded a couple games this night, and they were all pretty interesting, actually. But I think this one kind of gave some interesting lines, if I remember correctly, and get some cool plays to talk through.
That's right. Cool plays to talk through. Indeed. Thanks, Nathan. All right. So on the Whitebeard side, what kind of opening hand are you looking for?
Yeah, so against a Sanji deck, you want stuff like Nico Robin's Ace, and then there's always the fantastic cards of Nami or the Dawn that you want to see in those opening hands to help pressure down the board that's going to be coming at you, because he's going to be playing a lot of just well-statted creatures that you're going to need to take care of, otherwise you're going to get some pressure.
Yeah, so this matchup's interesting because from your side of the table, this is like a kind of a cakewalk, right? Where this is, you're already a deck that's well-equipped to beat Zoro. You have very large characters that attack very easily into Zoro's wider board, and Zoro has 5 life. Now that's interesting because the Sanji deck that I'm representing is going to play out very similarly to the Zoro deck, except it only has 4 life, so it's even easier for Whitebeard to take down than Zoro. As well as Sanji's lacking that Zoro ability to be able to pump the entire team up to actually contest Whitebeard's 6K body.
But you do have one good thing going for you, and that is you have a little bit of staying power in the late game with
That's
all
right.
the events you're playing.
Correct.
Also, a tiny bit of tempo with the sword style to kind of surprise some damage in sometimes.
Yeah, so we're going to see some of those combat tricks come out hopefully towards the end of this game. But in the meantime, on my side of the table, you're looking for Nico Robins and aces. I'm kind of looking for that early start. I'm looking for 2 2-drops in my hand, or I'm looking for a 3-drop and a 2-drop, something to get me early tempo. I'm going to try and get out ahead of your removal. I do know that you're playing Strawbeard. Strawbeard doesn't actually represent a lot of removal tools like the Moby Dick package actually offers. So it really is just Nico Robin. That's about the only removal you have. I know the deck plays a couple of vistas. Okay, so you start with an early Curly Dudan. That's actually really powerful because it's going to let you contest pretty easily my 4Ks.
Yeah, absolutely. You want these things to be able to attack back at the creatures that are attacking, or the characters that are attacking at you. And adding Nami is always a fantastic option. You're never sad seeing a Nami.
Oh, of course not. No, so like Curly Dudan on turn 2 for Whitebeard going first is super important because you're going to have a lot of wasted Dawn as you're playing evenly costed characters. 4, 5, 7s in your deck. You're playing a lot of the 4-drop vanillas. You're playing full 4 haste Luffys,
Yep.
and you're playing aces. So you're actually very top heavy. So you could get in these situations where you're kind of just passing with Dawn open, or you're making your leader swing bigger. So opening up Curly Dudan, looking for Nami. Nami's going to help you grab Nico Robin, which it actually does right there. Those are super important things to do against the more aggressive decks.
Yeah. And at this point, my hand is a bit medium, so I definitely need to play off of that Nami for next turn. and Nico Robins will be exactly that now, which is great.
Really powerful. And I actually, on the Sanji side, looks like they missed the early tempo, so they actually are only starting with a single 2-drop.
Yeah, it definitely doesn't feel great to not like have a bunch of chaining ones and doing another here, but at least having a 2-drop is a good start at least.
Yeah.
You definitely need that early creature, otherwise the deck just won't function.
So it does have the disadvantage of missing some use of your Dawn early on, but it does have the upside of your board still is clear, so you could go 3-drop into 2-drop if you want, or 3-drop 3-drop. On this turn, it looks like Sanji opted to go play my 3-drop and then swing at you for 8k. You're showing the Nami. You're showing Curly Dedan, which Curly Dedan less so than Nami, but Nami shows that you're kind of Strawbeard, so you are actually leaning towards the Edward Newgates, the 9-drops. So I decided to pressure you early on here, help you take a life, like I know that you want to do. And that makes the Newgate, the 9 drop, a little bit worse later on. So hopefully we can see that play out.
And that's definitely a play you've advocated for in general with any deck early against these Strawbeard decks.
Yeah.
Is that early large attack to be able to make sure that those 9-drops are difficult when they come down and not easy at 2 life.
Well, it's really tough because one of the strengths of Sanji, and hopefully we'll see this later on, is that when you swing in late game, I'm actually going to have a turn where it looks like I'm very weak to attacks, but I'm actually not. I'm really strong because my events are going to protect me. I'm probably going to pass in the last turn with full mana open, and I'm going to play my events to get out of all your attacks. And then after you overextend to try and kill me, I'm going to swing back at you. You don't have any blockers. You don't have a lot of Dawn open, and I'll be able to put you down. Whitebeard can do something similar with just the sheer number of 2Ks that they play in their deck. So when they go into the last turns of the game, they're going to have 9, 10 cards in their hand. Most of them are going to be a 2K. So if you can swing at them early on, the idea there is you're either taking them off Newgate, protecting them at 2 life, or you're going to get 2Ks out of their hand very early on, which can be kind of critical for them. It looks like I've already played a Draco Mihawk. The 6-drop here is incredibly powerful in this matchup.
Very good.
It's basically going to say, hey, you can't really remove me very easily, so I'm going to stick that 6-drop for a lot of the time.
Yes. I have almost no way to deal with that unless I were attacking with a 9-drop at it, and at the point where I'm doing that, I'm probably trying to win the game instead. So that will be here probably for the rest of time.
It's also really safe from your Nico Robin. Even if you were to ace, it goes to 5k. It's actually still protected. Now you can get cute. You can do ace plus Otama to take it down.
You can.
But that's 9 mana.
Yes.
And at that point, you're probably trying to play Newgate.
And we're going into the turn of 7 here. Still at 2 life because I took that 1 earlier. So I think ace is fine here. Not exciting because your Nico doesn't have any Dawn then to equip to be able to kill something. I do have the Dons and the Nami to be able to hopefully attack the Usopp here. Let's see where the opted play was. I don't exactly remember. Okay. It is just the ace.
So we're going to go with ace. I'm assuming we're going to reduce the cost or the power of Usopp, and you chose the Mihawk. Okay, redirected. That makes a lot more sense.
I don't think it super matters since it taps me out.
It did tap you out, but it is just good practice. Make sure that you're actually taking down the thing that Nico Robin can remove.
Yep. And we're just going to try and kill the Usopp here.
And you see there that I actually protected my Usopp, and that's because I was actually thinking about the Nico Robin swinging on it next.
I see.
When that actually wasn't going to happen.
No, yeah.
Because Nico Robin doesn't have any power on it, or doesn't have any Dawn available to swing. So
right. But I think that goes away, and now I get 2 attacks at life with him at 2 life. So hopefully pressuring the life back that he's trying to pressure out of me, and give him a bit of a race for his money here.
Yeah, let's see how comfortable I am taking that damage. This is I'm in a pretty good position to want to just take the damage. I am holding a couple of event cards already. I'm looking for a good trigger here. I think we're going to see a life trigger that is Punk Gibson tapping the ace. very powerful here that cuts you off of an entire attack, so I'm going to end the turn at 1 life rather than 0.
Incredibly good.
It does take a Punk Gibson out of my hand, which is something I really need to consider. You saw me take a moment when I'm looking at it because, the ace damage isn't as critical because I'm not dying this turn. Keeping the Punk Gibson in my hand could actually keep me alive in a subsequent turn. So it is important to consider your options there.
And I think if after I kind of glanced at your hand there, it looked like it was a bunch of creatures and also just like one level beam. So the events weren't super hard. Although that looks like you just drew a Deathwing, so that's a pretty good event.
So now my hand is a very large amount of vanilla characters plus level of beam plus Deathwing. Now if I can sling those together correctly, I'll be able to draw a card from level of, and then also draw 2 cards off of the Deathwing, which is a lot of advantage. All right, so we are just swinging 5 on your board.
Yeah, you took the Nami and the Dadan out, which is fine. I think we're both happy with that.
Well, it's all about saving my Dawn. And what can I do to maximize my turn without actually using up my Dawn?
Sure.
Because if I start sinking Dawn into attacking your leader or trying to attack your ace, it just gets very awkward for me. You can counter out, and I've used up a lot of my resources, and I'm actually at 1 life staring down a lot of attackers, so I need all of my life. I need all of my Dawn in order to protect my life on the following turn. So I have to make efficient plays that you're not willing to counter out of.
And you did attack it for 11 here, which is would be 3 cards if I wanted to protect that ace. But I think there's just better options available with the giant hand I have going on there. I definitely remember one of the cards in my hand being 9-drop, and trying to consider is playing that good here. There's definitely benefit to swinging 8k at the Sanji here, and there's benefit to just being able to be so far above life that your 2-drop creature there won't be able to attack efficiently into it.
Now, I will say, when I swung on the ace, I didn't actually expect you to give it to me. I was just looking for the most number of cards that I could get from you, so that I could make my attacks on the following turn a bit stronger. The fact that you actually took it, kept all the cards in your hand, I was like, okay, that's actually pretty good. It did change the way that I would need to play. It made me a little bit safer, for sure, but at the same time, you're keeping all those resources. Now, in my brain, I'm going, okay, we're actually going to go maybe a turn later than we would have if you had actually kept the ace on the board.
I think my consideration here was that losing that ace was okay, mostly because I had another ace in hand. Playing an ace here to give the minus cost of things, Nico swings in to kill one of them, and ace can probably swing on the other one to kill it, putting you at almost no board and just 1 life still to try and figure out a way out. I was the reason for the entire turn here. I was trying to plan the turn out as you were attacking it and saying, okay, I think it's actually all right at this point. But you are right. If I counter out of that instead, I just have another character to really threaten your life and make you really respect it.
Yeah, I think as we get towards these later turns, it comes down to what is the most that I can do with my Dawn, and having to recommit 7 Dawn to play a 7k is a little bit taxing, right?
Sure.
Like, that's not as super efficient use of your cards. So you can kind of look at the cards of your hand when you're defending your characters and saying, okay, well, these 3 cards are worth 7 Dawn on the next turn. I think I like that math. Or not,
Right.
And I actually think that, there's a lot more nuances to it than just having attacker efficiency. I actually do think that the game went longer than it could have otherwise because you kept your ace. I'm in a position where I'm swinging on your ace. I'm not actually trying to kill it. I'm just trying to get 3 cards out of your hand. I'm very well prepared to not die on the following turn. So that I can pressure you a bit more. Now, what you said instead was, I'm going to keep all those resources. I'm not going to, I'm going to use them to protect me because I still have my leader swing on you every turn. I still have my characters on the board swinging at you every turn. I don't actually need this ace.
Yeah. And another strike against me playing 9-drop here is I had a couple events in hand that needed the Dawn to be able to cast them. So playing a 9-drop would completely tap me out of those Dawn and wouldn't allow me to quite as efficiently protect myself from large attacks here. Was a worry that I had. So you can see me leaving the 1 Dawn up now to at least hold one of them up in case of emergency here.
All right. And the Mihawk still is on the board. It has
So
been
tough to deal
so
with.
hard to remove. Yeah, even with Ace swinging, Ace never attacked the Mihawk directly. That was, good for me. Um, okay. And it looks like, it looks like I'm prepared to just, make a play here. Um, We've got 10 Dawn. We've got an 8K bounty. The best thing that we could do is just suit up and swing for 18. Now, I'm trying to do math in my head. I know that you have 1 Dawn open for Radical Beam at best, and then you actually have, I think I asked you and you said 9 cards in hand or 10 cards in hand.
Yeah, it was about that.
And it was a lot. So I'm trying to do math. What is it better to go 17K with the Mihawk and 6K with the Sanji to give me 2 attacking bodies, or it's just better to go 18K? And I think I said 18K is better. It's an additional card.
You went 18K here, and the rest of my hand was not able to.
Yeah. And look at the power of putting you down 1 single life. Now, you never felt comfortable enough to play the new gates out. Because of that, I was able to kill the Ace on the turn that you had 7 Dawn. You had to recommit Dawn in order to play another Ace, which means that you can't Edward Newgate. And when you do Newgate, you get less value of it.
I think the same problem still happens if I play Newgate at 9 mana here, or at 9 Dawn here. If I play Newgate, I go up to 8K, but then I'm not playing Radical Beam, so I'm down even 2K less.
Yep.
So that same swing kills me.
Well, you still have 1 life in that world.
There is that.
Yeah.
But then I'm not dealing with the other creature on the board, which doesn't matter as much when you're swinging a single 18. So that is fair.
It is a 4K. So it is a bit harder to get up to 8K. It's a lot of resources. But yeah, I mean, it's scary, like looking down at that. And then you would still have the Ace in your hand for the following turn of a lot of big attacks. So I do think that was probably the correct line, but
yeah, I don't play a lot of Newgate myself, so it was interesting.
It's really tough to say. Like, that's a scary position to be in when you're looking at Mihawk and another attacker.
Yeah.
You really have to constantly be doing math, like what's the most output that he can do, and what's the most that I can do with my turn.
Right.
So. But overall, yeah, pretty good game. And if you guys are out there, like this is how Sanji can win. You can just stick a giant body, keep swinging, trying to be as efficient as you can with your Dawn in the following turns. We didn't actually see the game conclude the way that a Sanji game would normally conclude, where you were able to 3-sword style onigiri, put out another attacker that your opponent wasn't really predicting, and then you can kind of get them. A lot of the Sanji game is just trying to get them.
You actually also, I think, casted 0 events that game.
Yeah, it was a tough game for me. I definitely did not have all of the resources that I kind of wanted to get. Right. Although I will say I did have the Mihawks, and they're probably the best against you. They're actually not falling behind at all.
Yeah.
But if you look at my deck, I have a lot of 6Ks. And I will say a strength on your side was knowing to look for the Nico Robin. You had a Nico Robin very early. It wasn't quite on curve. It was a turn after you had 3 Dawn, but you did notice right away, hey, Nico Robin's the move here, and that felt really good. So
it did.
Nico Robin plus double Ace is like incredibly powerful. You did have also Haste Luffy, so I was pretty in for it.
Well, you pulled it out regardless, so that was a great game. It felt good.
All right, guys. Well, if you're still here, be sure to like and subscribe the video. Leave a comment if you think you saw any mistakes, and we'll see you for the next one.